Hello, everybody. It's Emerge Wednesday. So thrilled for you to join us today. We are going to be talking about public relations and marketing your business, and also about finances. Two important topics to emerge yourself and your business. I'm Tiffany Boyle, along with co-host DaShana Kemp-Garnett. And we will hear from DaShana later on as she talks about her 2 cents about finances. And we get the privilege of learning from Dorothea as she talks to us about making divine decisions. Our special guest for today's show is Marcus Calabrese, owner of Image Capital Group, and DaShana Kemp-Garnett, financial professional. But before we dive in deep into these amazing topics, up next is the CEO Corner. So welcome everybody to the CEO Corner. So if you listened to last week's show, you know I am in a 3-week course at Harvard. And I just want to tell you guys, I'm like absolutely loving it. I finally got the hang of going back to school thing, which is like really hard. The first week was so hard because I had to focus, and I haven't focused like for 8 hours straight in a really long time. So I think mentally I was just exhausted on saying, no, I'm putting the phone down. I'm listening to the professor. I'm taking it all in. So it was like a learning curve. I also know that when I return, I'm going to be asked, what did I learn while I was here? And I think the biggest thing that, lesson I think I learned is not really what the professors taught me in class, which was great material, but more of what I learned listening and networking and really getting to know my fellow classmates. It's to learn how to be diverse and to accept diversity. 2 steps in this diversity program. People can talk all day long about diversity, equity, and inclusion. Actually, DE&I has become like a hot topic / hashtag going on right now. But living it and believing it is something completely different. And being here really like helped me see that. So some people think diversity is like a black and white thing. It's a race thing. But, well, honey, I'm here to tell you diversity is a mixture of everything. It's exactly what is in its name, diverse, a mixture. In my class alone, we have 74 people, right? It's a lot. It's a lot. We have men, we have women, we have those that pronouns are he, she, him, her, they, them. We have transgender people. We have people from the LGBTQ plus community. We have Black people. We have white people. We have people from Africa. We have people from Ireland. We have Ukrainian people. We have American Samoan people. And then just like locality wise, we have people from California, Colorado, Ireland, Virginia, New Mexico, etc. I could just keep going on about the diversity. So, I mean, the diversity can really keep going on. And being in a room with all of these different people for the past 2 weeks, now going on 3, has taught me to really broaden my horizon, be open-minded, accept everyone for who they are, and appreciate their stories and the events that made them them. Like what we grew up as, what we grew up with, our adulthood all brought us to the point of who we are today. So my advice to you is to learn how to be diverse and accept diversity. It's okay. It's a beautiful thing. And I'm Tiffany Boyle, and that's my tip from the CEO Corner. Up next, we are going to be speaking with Marcus Calabrese, owner of Image Capital Group. He was top 40 under 40 at the age of 25. He was a millennial on the move in COVID Biz magazine. He worked on 2 successful governor campaigns. He was a state communications director for 2020 presidential race. He specializes in swing voters for political campaigns, ongoing media coverage for local businesses with coverage secured in over 2 dozen media markets, including India and the Philippines. He's formerly served on boards such as the Food Bank of Southeastern Virginia and the Susan G. Komen Tidewater. So, Marcus, we are so excited to talk to you today. All right. Hey, Marcus, how are you today?
I'm all right. How are you?
Good, good. We are so happy to have you on the show and talk to us. I think you're the first person we have on the show that actually does like public relations work. So it's pretty, it's going to be interesting. So can you tell us what you do and a little bit about yourself?
Sure. And I hope that I do the PR field and industry justice being the first. I'm a publicist for several different over the years for several different types of clients, and for some organizations I might almost function as their PR marketing department. It depends on what they need. But what I like to try to do is I work with clients to use and kind of create a media campaign from what I consider media compatible angles that they already have. They might just be overlooking them. After I do that, I like to try to create and develop media campaigns that speak to the authenticity of who they are. Hopefully, with that meaning that they're also trying to do something good. Someone asked me several years ago what kind of clients did I want. I thought it was the silliest question. I said, I want all the clients. What are you talking about? And then I really had to think about that. And kind of voice in my head. My grandma says it's the Holy Spirit. Said that's not the question. And I really had to think about it. And I realized I do better, and I really only want the clients who are trying to either do something good, whether they're trying to change their community, change their industry, change the world. That'd be great. Of course, I want all my clients to make money and to reach their goals. But as for me, I've just noticed I do better at obtaining media for them and helping them with their brand when they want to do something impactful. So I hope that helps. But that's what I try to do. I try to help them use what I consider media compatible angles to essentially change the world.
I like it. So tell us why it's important that businesses, or even an entrepreneur or a politician, why it's important for them to add that marketing aspect to what they do.
Well, it's really only important if they want it to be. If they want to just do what everyone else does, and some people do. Some people, and there's nothing wrong with that. Some people do want to do a traditional life and keep everything simple. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to do something that means something, if you want to have a legacy, if you want to have an impact, then you have to try to be different. I remember one time I was working with one of the top statewide pageant organizations. There's 2 main pageant organizations. There's, of course, Miss America and Miss USA. And I was working, and I've worked with a few other pageant groups, but I was working with one particular pageant organization at the state level. And they were wonderful title holders. They were very, very nice ladies. But they didn't really have any particular platform or difference they were trying to make. And it just wasn't a good fit. So it's only important if they're trying to do something worthwhile. If you're elected, one of my clients, my favorite client, the Commissioner of the Revenue in Newport News, no one expects a constitutional officer to really do anything impactful. Most of them sit there and collect a 6-figure check for 20 years and they retire, and then they move to Florida. But in her office, we've done tax relief presentations, town halls, public service announcements, things that matter to people and that make a difference. They might not make a difference to 10,000 people, but if there's 10 or 20 or 100, and there are, that find life easier because of that, that's where you start creating a legacy and other people see it. I feel like I'm going on a tangent. I don't want to do that. But it only matters if they want it to matter to them and if they want to matter to other people for good reason.
So I was just going to ask, like, how did you get into this role and start in starting your own business?
I got fired from a job I really, really, really loved. And that's how I actually got my first client. This at the same time as I got my first client. I was running a community center and I loved it. And I loved the impact. And my first client, who ended up becoming the governor of Virginia at the time, who's Governor Bob McDonnell, brought me on. And it was a wonderful experience. But it also taught me that a lot of people do things in a run-of-the-mill type of way. They don't try to be innovative. They don't try to be creative. And they're looking for easy wins in their jobs. You know, when you come to your client, yeah, you want your client to have easy wins and make the impact. But a lot of people in PR and politics and philanthropy and things like that and marketing, they're looking for easy wins for their job, which I think is detrimental to the brand of the client. I think you want to you want to look at what they want to do and what's needed, and you bridge that gap as often and as best as you can.
So I had a question. So when you were starting this business, right, you saw a need, you filled a need, but how did you actually go about getting your business kind of up and running? Like, what steps did you take?
Well, and actually, I have to apologize to Tiffany. I didn't answer the question as well as I could have. In a nutshell, the way I got started, I was in Saudi Arabia, and I stepped over a book, and I didn't know who it was at the time. It turned out to be Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And I got obsessed with impact right away. I got obsessed with social impact. Reading about Dr. King took me to Mahatma Gandhi, took me to Nelson Mandela, and then I got interested in the Kennedys, which is not Dr. King at all, but it was still impact, and it showed me campaigning. But as far as what I started doing and how I look up my clients, a lot of it is word of mouth and networking. A lot of it is instincts. Fortunately, I'm very blessed to have good instincts, and I like to think that God assigns me to whoever I'm supposed to help. But I try to keep my eye open, and I try to keep my ear to the ground and see who's doing what. I guess that's the main thing, and I try to see where the need is. If there's not a need there, then I don't want to be there.
I wish I could have made that a quote. If there's not a need there, I don't want to be there. Like, that just sounded so profound when you said it. It's like,
I'm going to trademark it.
Trademark it. Look, put it somewhere so I can, repost it, because if you don't see a need there, there's no reason to be there. But that is awesome. So can you kind of talk to us about some of the people, maybe not their exact names, but some of the things you're embarking on right now with helping people?
Sure, I might be thrilled to talk about some of them. Let me see where I want to start. Well, one, like I said, the Commissioner of Revenue, Newport News, Tiffany Boyle. Wonderful impact we've been able to have there. Like I said, we've made history. We're the first in the state to have public service announcements in Korean, Spanish, and sign language. That's unheard of. And unfortunately, a lot of politicians would think it's unnecessary, but in a diversifying world, you need it. Another client of mine, actually, Onyx Realty, based in Virginia Beach, the largest veteran minority-owned real estate company. It really haven't got a lot of PR for them, but the difference is he wanted to have influence in policy. And so with that, I've got him on a couple different boards, and not just boards of directors for charities, but the policy committee. And on top of that, he's on the state board for real estate. And sometimes I'm directly involved in that. Sometimes it's circumstances that I'm fortunate to have been able to engineer. So, Smoothie Stop Cafe, they have 7 locations. Of course, they have 7 locations because their food is good. But I've been fortunate to represent them from 3 locations up through the 7. And I would like to think that the PR and the branding and the publicity, the word of mouth has had a hand in that. Um, and one of my most fun clients in the NASCAR world, Macy Causey, she doesn't race anymore. She's in college. But representing a NASCAR family was exciting because the only thing I do close to NASCAR is I drive too fast. Other than that, that's the closest I get. But representing a teenager who races at Langley Speedway, and her grandmother was the first woman in NASCAR history to ever win a NASCAR sanctioned race, Diane Teal, the only woman in Virginia recognized in the NASCAR Hall of Fame. That was incredibly exciting, incredibly exciting. We did public service announcements, media blitzes, philanthropic campaigns, special events, all kinds of stuff. So, but anyway, again, I feel like I'm going on a tangent.
So I think for like people listening in on the show, like, is that like your highest goal is to like work for someone who's running for president of like the entire United States? Like, how did you even get into that position?
Well, so my highest goal literally is to help create a governor or a senator. I almost created a congressman, but my highest goal would be to help create a governor, a senator, a president would be great. But and to run their communications or as their press secretary. Someone told me that being a press secretary at the national level is tough because you have to be kind of tall and really slim, and it has to look like the media can literally beat you up. and that wasn't that's not the vibe I have. I'm kind of short and stocky, and so they were like, it just won't happen. But strategically, I think given the right elected official, I think we could really do a lot of good in a field that does a lot of damage. So that's what I would love to do. I would love to take the right person and get him or her elected, whether it's Democrat or Republican. I do prefer a lot of Democratic policies, but I've seen at the ground level how both parties treat people, and I can say they both need somebody new. So, but either way, I would like for them to be a moderate or a centrist, which is hard. It's very hard, and I feel for anyone trying to do it. But I have someone in mind. I'll just say that.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I heard that politics in its purest form is about the people. I'm not going to say who said it. You know what I mean? But I heard, I've been hearing that for years. I just want to put that out.
Well, and that's very true. That's very true. The first time I heard it, I swore to God it was plagiarized. I was so scared.
Y'all are funny. Too funny. No, but I love it. I love the vision and the tenacity behind it because, working with people is always hard. And, it takes a little bit of time to find that right person, whoever that person shall be. But, and while I'm in this class, actually, we've been talking about the 2-party system and just going over the history of it and how it's become like so polarized. So it is very difficult. And we've actually done some like simulations here of how we would do it, like through negotiations and what our party leader wants versus we have to work with like a Republican leader. Like it was depending on who you got. I was a Democrat in my simulation. So it was pretty interesting, like what was going on, but it's a difficult system. And we have some people here from like Ireland and they're like, we don't have this. They have like 4 or 5 parties. So they're learning a lot. So tell us how people can get in contact with you, how to follow you on social media, etc.
Well, if you just, my website is imagecapitalgroup.com, IMAGE, image traditionally spelled, and capital like money, CAPITAL, imagecapitalgroup.com. And you can find me on Facebook with the same name, or just mark as Calabrese. Just contact me directly. But And a lot of times you can even go through my clients. That's how some other people find me. So, but I would love to help anyone. Again, my only thing is they just have to be trying to do something worthwhile and that's innovative and impactful.
Very nice. Very nice. And what does the word emerge mean to you?
Emerge to me is it's literally like a seed. It's like you're pushing up through the dirt, through all the dirt that's been piled on you, and all of us have our own dirt. But it's emerge. I would almost say it's a choice. It's the difference between choosing whether or not you've been buried or planted. So if you're going to emerge, obviously you've been planted and something good is about to happen. But the prerequisite is you have to push through all the dirt and all the gravel, all the rocks, all the everything. You have to push through it. Or the other choice is you were buried. But I think emerge is a choice between choosing whether you've been buried or planted.
I think that might be the favorite definition or explanation I've heard to that question. I was over here snapping my fingers like, yes. Have you been buried or have you been planted? Because there is a difference. I never thought about it that way. Like,
but it looks the same.
This stuff.
Yeah, but it looks exactly the same. It looks exactly the same. So it's a choice.
I love it. Yep, I love it. Yes, that is Go ahead, Marcus. That is amazing.
He's not shocked.
Well, that was a really good definition of emerge. It's like, it has me thinking. I have not been buried, but I like it. I can start using it on people that like have, going through their self-pity time. I'm gonna say, have you been buried or planted?
Yeah, it's a choice. It's a choice.
I love it. Love it. Love it. Well, thank you so much for sharing with us here on
Thank you for having me.
We learned a lot. And for those listening, make sure you make time and budget for marketing and PR. And it's always best to have a professional doing that. And Marcus, thank you for being so awesome at that and being able to help people so that way they can emerge.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I really enjoyed it.
If you would like your business spotlighted on the show, visit emergethemagazine.com for more information on how to reach a wider audience and emerge your business. Follow us on social media at Emerge the Magazine. And after this break, we will be learning how to make divine decisions with Dorothea.
You have a mission. It's no collision. Hold the phone. Don't text. You're angling to be next. Brothers and sisters, you won't see it coming. You're off the road. Your life explodes. It's not worth it. Don't do it. You only think there's nothing to it. Put it down. Hang up. Pay attention to highway action. Behind the wheel, there is no such thing as a small distraction. Join the conversation at decidetodrive.org, a public service message from the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons.
Welcome to today's lottery drawing. And today's winning numbers are not yours, not yours, and another number that's not yours. And the final number is not yours.
When it comes to having money, don't rely on luck. Brew your own coffee at home instead of buying that latte. Brown bag it to work instead of ordering it. Go to feedthepig.org for more free ideas on how to save. Feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Gina Pemberton, president of the National Hampton Alumni Association. Our time is now. This is our moment to define what being a Hamptonian really means. At a time when the relevancy and impact of HBCUs is without question, it's absolutely critical that we all engage, work together, and give back to our home by the sea. Engaging as an alumnus means to join your local alumni chapter, mentor a current student, and donate regularly. Join your local alumni chapter now, logging on to NHAAINC.org. Keep Hampton's legacy strong for generations to come. Keeping you informed, we are Smooth 88.1 WHOV.
This is a guided meditation on parenting. Take a deep breath in and let go of the time you and your son played basketball and you attempted to slam dunk. Or when you hit that piñata into your neighbor's yard. Let it go.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you. For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back. I'm Dorothea Schuler, and you're tuned into WHOV 88.1 iHeartRadio, and you're listening to Emerge Wednesdays, the radio show that's all about entrepreneurs and business and is the premier information source for business owners. If you're just now joining us, DaShana and Tiffany spoke with Lenora Bundy, the owner and chief operating officer of Glamorous Events, LLC, an event company that specializes in weddings and floral designs and is based in Richmond, Virginia. If you didn't hear, her work has been featured on The Real Housewives of Potomac. And if you're looking for that glam, over-the-top celebrity feel for your next event, let me tell you, then look no further. You can catch her interview as well as any of our previously recorded episodes by going to www.emergethemagazine.com. All right, let's get to it. We all operate throughout the course of our lives based upon a series of decisions. A decision is a conclusion or resolution reached after consideration. And divine means excellence. So we're making an excellent decision. Over the past few shows, Tiffany and DaShana both separately spoke to this in the CEO's Corner and My 2 Cents. So I decided that I would keep it going. Now, with that being said, let's make the divine decision today to pivot. There were a few very complex definitions for pivot. The one I chose helps to effectively and better illustrate our ability to emerge with just the slightest pivot. To pivot is to turn or rotate like a hinge. Okay, so there's a shift in direction or a shift in process, but the movement is stationary. The definition stated to turn or rotate. I remember as a little girl, I loved opening my grandmother's cherry wood finished musical jewelry box. Out would pop this little porcelain ballerina who spun in circles as long as the top was open. She generated movement and it was mesmerizing. But she never moved from her original position. Her one foot was the pivot point. We can generate the necessary movement to accomplish our goals and reach an end result that we truly desire without moving or changing the foundation that we've built upon. Maybe all that's needed is the decision to pivot. Maybe you're a person who's built a solid foundation and just fallen into complacency. That slight pivot is all we need to reinvigorate our efforts and maintain that forward progression. Say you finished trade school or graduated college. Maybe you successfully opened a new business or are ready to expand an old one. The point is, you're ready for what's next. You know it, but you feel stuck. Let me suggest maybe you just need to pivot your mindset, your efforts, or your execution and leave the foundation in place. When throwing the shot put before the release, the foundational foot is planted first and then used to pivot the athlete in the direction in which they are throwing. Sometimes it's the smaller movements that are necessary in order to create and see the bigger change. Join me today by emerging into our best lives and make the divine decision to pivot, knowing this decision will ultimately help to shape and create a path that reflects a light of excellence in our lives. You're listening to Emerge Wednesdays on WHOV 88.1 iHeartRadio, and this has been another divine decision with Dorothea. And speaking of decisions, you too can decide to be a part of Emerge Wednesdays by submitting your response to our signature question, what does the word emerge mean to you? Share that with us on our IG at Emerge the Magazine. This week's response is from Jessica Howe, State Farm agent, Williamsburg, Virginia. To bloom where you are planted. We love it, Jessica. Simple, but so in depth. Up next, Tiffany will be interviewing a woman who may need no formal introduction, but I'll tell you, her entrepreneurial ventures and accomplishments do. She's guaranteed to give you her 2 cents. And today, we are so excited to have the opportunity to allow her to give our Emerge listeners so much more. You guessed it, our very own Emerge radio co-host, the Chief Operating Officer of Emerge the Magazine, and her entrepreneurial efforts. Yes, this woman is a boss. She's an independent financial professional for World Financial Group, Mrs. DaShana Kemp-Garnett. DaShana is a native to Virginia and attended King and Queen County Public Schools. She obtained her bachelor's degree from Christopher Newport University, majoring in business administration and minoring in communication studies. She graduated from the George Washington University with a Master's of Arts in Education and Human Development. Her business focus is to help people achieve their financial goals and educate them on how money works. DaShana is a proud wife and a mother.
All right. I am so excited, DaShana, to talk to you about this extended My 2 Cents segment. I'm not sure if people who listen to Emerge know that you are a financial professional, but, I think it's important for us to talk about like what you do, the knowledge that you have, and how like being up to date on finances, life insurance, et cetera, is like so important, especially as a business owner, to be thinking about the future. So can you talk to us like more about that?
Yes. So I have been in the financial services industry since 2014. So 8 years. My 8-year anniversary will be coming up in August. And I think that was important for me because Tiffany, I like to enjoy life. I like to spend money.
Right.
But just being in this industry and getting a handle on my finance off you that you put on yourself when you kind of don't know what you have going on. I would say one of the things that really was eye-opening to me was learning how to budget because I really didn't want to know how bad it was. So after I sat with a financial professional and they put my mind at ease and they just asked me some questions, it wasn't as traumatic as I thought it was going to be, but it really just kind of helped me know how I can come up with a plan. This is where I need to cut back spending. This is where I need to increase on my savings. And really, at that time, I was a young mother. I had a home, and it was really just making sure, like, if something were to happen to me prematurely, what kind of life do I want to have in place, for my son? And so it's been an amazing experience so far.
That is awesome. Yeah, I think, we've talked about budgeting forever, and we go back and forth because we like to live a nice lifestyle, but budgeting is hard. I mean, doing the budget is not hard. It's sticking to the budget that is difficult. And I probably do a new budget every 2 months.
And this is why I found this difficult for people. A lot of people, when they look at their budget, they try to make it so stringent, like all the discretionary income they have left. I've seen a lot of people there, I'm going to save it and I'm going to put this extra amount to my debt. And I'm not saying don't do that. It's very important to save and to get and keep yourself out of debt. But for me, what has been helpful is I have to have what I call splurge money. It's just a set amount of money that I'm just going to splurge on, you know, and that's just how I do it. So I typically keep it to $25, $20 to $25 a pay period. And then when I felt like I wasn't getting enough bang for my buck, I'm not above going to Five Below in Dollar Tree because sometimes I just want to have things, you know, and that's, you know, I can afford to splurge $20 to $25 a paycheck. And so I think when people look at it, if you're the type of person where you like to spend, figure out how you can afford to do that. You know, what is going to be your splurge amount? And then another thing I did, that splurge amount, I put that on like my Cash App card. So I don't even carry my debit card most of the time.
Right.
Whatever. I separate that money. So when there's no more money left on that card, it's like, all right, I can't splurge, whether that's my Starbucks coffee or, you know, my cake pop or my Dollar Tree or Five Below run. But I'm really, you know, strict. When that splurge money is gone, that's it, you know, because I can't afford for my budget to be out of whack. So,
right. Yeah. I was doing that for a while. I think I got that idea from you actually putting the money on the Cash App card. And I was doing it for a little while. So I'm going to go back to that because I was doing like really good because you can actually like see it, you know, your money going down and you get to see where you're spending your money at, you know?
Yeah, I think a lot of the things that some of these banks and credit unions are starting to do, they'll send you like notices on they categorize what you're spending on. So it's like, woohoo, you got paid and how much money you have coming in and how much money you have going out. That's really eye-opening if you spend a lot of money because it's just like, I know I couldn't have spent that much in food in the month of June. Like, who was I feeding? You know? So if your bank or your credit union has something like that, I would say take full advantage of those things. It's a free tool, you know, and it's really, you'll learn to, you know, cut back once you see how much you truly spend on certain items.
Yeah, it's crazy. So what other advice can you give us about like, so we talk about like budgeting and savings, but how can you make like your money work for you?
Making your money work for you, you really have to figure out what your financial goals are. And then I would say talk to a financial professional about what financial vehicles can help you reach those goals. It's not a one size fits all for everybody. So you really have to have that one-on-one conversation and say, hey, I want to have this amount of money set aside, you know, for retirement. I want to make sure my kids go to school and they don't have to pay for anything. Or, hey, if something happens to me prematurely, I want to make sure the mortgage is taken care of. I want to set up a trust fund for, you know, my children. That's something you really need to sit down with a financial professional and they can really just help point you in the right direction. I feel like nowadays people want to figure everything out with Google, but, you know, just like everything, Google can be a double-edged sword. You know, on one webpage, certain things look like it's great. And on another webpage, you might find some negative information. So I encourage everyone, you know, to reach out to a financial professional to really give you a solid financial education. So then you can make an informed, educated decision.
I guess I kind of like want people to know, like, it doesn't matter like how much money you make because it's set to you, and to not be like embarrassed about where you are financially, because I think that's what stops a lot of people from going to financial professionals.
Right. And you bring up a great point. You know, when I first started, I was embarrassed because I'm like, oh my gosh, they're going to see I'm 26 years old, 24, however old I was. I'm not going to tell my age on the air, but it was just like, I have all this debt and I'm nowhere near where I need to be. And that is something a lot of people think, because when you're starting out, when you're an adult, it's so easy to be in debt. If you went to a four-year college or if you went to any type of school, and it's very common to come out with debt. You know, debt if you buy a house, you got debt if you've ever been sick, you have medical bills, you buy a car, you have debt. So debt, you know, for most of us is going to happen. But the thing is, not having a lot of money is really putting time on your side and starting saving as soon as you can. As long as you're saving something, you'll be in a much better position. Say if you're like in your 20s and you start saving $25, you know, every week, versus in your 50s, you want to save $200 every week. You've already missed out, you know, maybe 20 to 30 years at that point. So it's really important, whatever you have, just start saving and make sure you're reaching out to a financial professional and make sure you're putting that money in the proper place to get the most bang for your buck. So yeah, Tiffany, that was a great point that you brought up.
Thank you. Thank you. So if you are just tuning in, you're listening to Emerge here on WHOV 88.1. And I'm Tiffany Boyle, along with co-host DaShana Kemp-Garnett, who has given us her 2 cents about finances. We felt like it was time for us to dive in a little deeper because we want to see everybody win. And if you don't have a good base, a good foundation, especially with finances, you're not going to be able to emerge. And that is what we want you to do. So DaShana, can you talk to us about, there's all these things going on about life insurance. You got whole life insurance, term life insurance, you got index funds, all of the above. Can you just talk to us a little bit about that stuff?
Absolutely. So the main thing to really know is, you can get two types of life insurance. You can get a term policy, or you can get some type of permanent policy. A term policy means that, hey, it's going to terminate. That's not going to last you forever. Typically, it's going to be 30 to 35 years. Typically, that's something, if you're just starting out, you don't have a lot of money to invest, that's a great option for you. But I always tell people, when you can afford it, look at getting something permanent, because if you start out and you're 21 years old and you get a term policy for 30 years, at 51, you don't know, how you're going to feel. You don't know what your income is going to look like. You don't know what your health is going to look like. So imagine trying to get something to cover yourself at 51 years old. Permanent policies, they last you, until you die. And there's some amazing things you can do with insurance. A lot of people think, hey, it's something to take. You can use it for so many other things. It's just that you have to make sure you have the proper policy. And that's something, a financial professional can educate you on. That's one of the things I learned. I didn't really know a lot about insurance. When I was growing up, my parents got my sisters and I $50,000 worth of coverage. That's just what we were taught in my community. And then when I became older and I had a house and I had debt and I had a child, $50,000 would have buried me, maybe paid off half of my student loans. So what we see is that people aren't really educated. They don't really know about the different types of insurance. And then they don't really understand how to figure out what is enough coverage to have for myself in the event that something happens. So I sit down with people. I educate them on that at absolutely no cost to them. I love what I do. I love spreading financial literacy because it's something I've noticed is not taught in a lot of communities. I went to high school. Nobody taught me about finance, and taught financial literacy. I went to college. I have a master's degree, and it took me becoming an entrepreneur to really learn the things that probably would have set me up for success as soon as I came out of college. So I'm really passionate about what I do and providing that financial education to those around me.
That is awesome. Yeah, I'm still lost on life insurance, but I know I got you and you're here to help me out. So
absolutely. I got you and little woman, right?
Exactly. Like I still don't understand. Oh my goodness. So what else do you want to tell the people listening in today? Anything else about finances?
Just make sure you have your house in order. I feel like we have a lot of small business owners and entrepreneurs who listen to our call. If you are out there and you have a family and you're working hard, make sure you have some type of protection in place for you, in place for your business, any of your key employees, because what you don't want to happen is that you work really, really hard. You make it really big. Your business is taking care of your family. If something happens to you or your business partner, think about what's going to happen to all that hard work you put in. So it's just really making sure that we all have our house in order and, we're taking care of the people we need to take care of. Because at the end of the day, most of us became entrepreneurs and small business owners because of a certain lifestyle we want to live, something we want to leave our children. We want to change legacies. We got to make sure we're doing that the proper way.
Preach it, preach it, preach it. All right, everybody. I hope you were taking notes. And DaShana is going to share with us her contact information now. So that way, if you have more questions, which I hope you do, you can get in contact with her.
Absolutely. So you can follow me on Instagram, COO_Emerge the magazine. That would be the best way to find me. I'm doing so much better with my social media. So, hey, slide in my DM, send me a message. You can contact me on my cell, 804-445-6591. And I look forward to, just helping whoever needs help. It's like I said, it's something I'm passionate about. I love providing that education to people because I see that it's something really needed, especially in our communities.
Yes. And you can also find her information on emergethemagazine.com if you need it as well.
Thank you, Tiffany.
So please, and if you are in the Hampton Roads area, she will be at the Brew networking events every fourth Wednesday at 1865. So you can talk to her then as well. So you are now on the hot spot, DaShana. You know what the last question is, a signature question. So what does the word emerge mean to you?
Oh, wow. And we ask this every week. Why am I not prepared to answer this question? I've heard so many definitions. I feel like my definition isn't good enough anymore. But for me, emerge just means evolving into a newer version of yourself. I feel like I'm always in constant pursuit of the best version of myself. I know it's like I'm never going to be the best, but I can strive to be the best. So it's just, really just working on growing and evolving into my best self. I know that the DaShana for Tuesday is going to be better than the DaShana for Monday. So it's just, it's really all about the journey, in my opinion.
Oh, love it. Love it. Yes, it is about the journey. Emerge is a journey. So great. Thank you so much. We're going to hear from you later on with my 2 cents for today. But thank you for really, taking the time out even more to talk to us about finances.
Thank you so much.
If you would like your business spotlighted on the show, visit emergethemagazine.com for more information on how to reach a wider audience and emerge your business. Follow us on social media at Emerge the Magazine.
Did you just look down at your phone? You did it again, didn't you? You're flying down the road in a 3-ton hunk of steel, and a text takes your eyes off the road for an average of 5 seconds. At 55 miles per hour, that's long enough to travel the length of a football field and cause some serious damage. Turn it off. Trust me, whatever it is, you'll live.
Learn more at stoptextsstopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Can I have your attention for a moment? Listen. Did you hear that? That was the sound of cancer cells being eradicated with proton beam therapy. If caught in time, a cancer diagnosis does not have to be a death sentence. It doesn't have to be painful, and it doesn't have to subject you to the many side effects of traditional radiation. The Hampton University Proton Therapy Institute invites you to live your life and let us fight your cancer with the most precise cancer treatment available. And now that precision is even sharper thanks to the addition of pencil beam scanning. PBS has treated over 1,800 patients and is only available in select proton facilities in the U.S. The actual treatment lasts 2 minutes or less. Remember this sound. A healthy, normal life can be yours again, cancer-free. Find out how. Call the Hampton University Proton Therapy Institute at 877-251-6838 now.
Someone once said, "Getting there is half the fun." From downtown to Old Town, Hampton Roads Transit and Go Past 365 connects you to entertainment, restaurants, friends. Go Past 365. Find out more at gopast365.com.
WHOV would like to thank HRT for its support of WHOV programming. We are live outside the home of Joe and Rosie Goddard, where a pretty big tickle fight broke out just minutes ago. Sources say their father instigated the laughter. Let's go inside for a comment. Apparently, they have no comment. Dads, let this be a reminder that it only takes a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
I am DaShana Kemp-Garnett, and it's time for my 2 cents. Hello, Emerge family. If you've been listening in today, you know that Tiffany put me in the hot seat, and today she interviewed me, and we focused on my journey of becoming a financial professional. During the interview, Tiffany brought up a really great point that many people think that in order to start planning, investing, or even focusing on your financial goals, you have to have a lot of money. And that is so far from the truth. Tiffany's point really made me think of a quote by Alan Lakeem, where he said, planning is bringing the future into the present so that you can do something about it now. That's the big thing. Do something about it now. You do not need a lot of money to get started. However, what you do need is time on your side. Let's just think about it like this. A 20-year-old who starts saving or investing $100 every other week will more than likely be further along than a 40-year-old who starts investing $500 a month. The important thing is that you're reaching out to a financial professional. It doesn't have to be me. I would love it to be, but just any financial professional to figure out where you are financially and how you can put time on your side. I'm DaShana Kemp-Garnett, and that's my 2 cents. Now, let's take a look at some local and regional activities. 1865 Brewing, Emerge, and RPEO presents Brew, Business Relationship Emerge Wednesday, business networking event with happy hour prices every 4th Wednesday, 5 to 7 p.m. at 1865 Brewing in Hampton, Virginia. The Emerge Awards and Premiere, the must-attend event of the year. Emerge presents a 3-day event all about entrepreneurs starting Sunday, October 16th through Tuesday, October 18th. Ticket sales start July 2022. You do not want to miss out on this event. For more information or to purchase your tickets, visit www.emergepremiere.com. A special thank you to the guests for today's show. If you missed part of today's show or to listen to past episodes, visit www.emergethemagazine.com.